This is ESPR Boxing. Delighted to be joined by Paul Kelly. This is a reaction video to the Chris Eubank Jr. Liam Smith fight being announced. Paul, delighted to speak to you. Thank you for your time at short notice. Big fight in the middleweight division. Just wanna get your quick reaction to what's your immediate thoughts on this fight being announced.
Yeah, I'm excited for it, to be honest with you. Thanks for having me on again, Elliot. But yeah, no, I'm excited for this fight. I think it's been rumored to be happening for the best part of nearly a year, I suppose. And no, I am excited for it. I think it is a really good fight. I think the fact that Liam Smith's taking the fight at middleweight is interesting. Chris Eubank Jr. obviously we know he can still make middleweight without a doubt with the whole Conor Ben saga and stuff. But yeah, in terms of this fight, I am excited for it. But I'm sure we'll get into predictions and stuff later on in this video. But yeah, I do see it. I think it's a close fight, but I don't think it's as close as a lot of people might make it out to be.
Yeah, I think it's a really interesting one. Obviously, Chris Eubank, everyone knows about the Eubank Junior Ben saga. We don't really need to go into that. I think everyone knows what happened, but I think they're both at really interesting times in their careers because Liam Smith is arguably in the best form of his career. If you look at his last two or three fights, two or three wins, he has looked good. Chris Eubank Jr., interesting performance against Liam Williams back in February. Some people thought he should have stopped him. Well, a lot of people thought he should have stopped him, but at times he did look very good. And at times in his career, Chris Eubank Jr. looked like a good competitor, but he's never had that fight against Golovkin, Canelo, and he's been calling those guys' names for a while. You mentioned kind of a favorite there who some people like. I think whether it's a 50-50 fight is debatable, but I think you're going to have a lot of people backing each fighter in this fight. Who do you think is the favorite, and how much of a favorite are they?
Yeah, I think you've just got to make Eubank the favorite. To be honest, I think he will be the favorite when odds are released, or I haven't even had a chance to look. But I'd imagine that Eubank is not a really heavy favorite, but I imagine it is. It's quite favorable. The odds are quite favorable in his way. I agree with that. I do agree with that. And when I said I think this is perhaps more one-sided than a lot of people think, then yeah, that's what I mean. I think Eubank Jr. I think Eubank Jr. can win this. And I'm not just saying that because obviously the easy comparison to draw here is the fact that they've both fought Liam Williams. Liam Smith fought him twice, didn't he? Both close fights, contentious. And then there was that clash of heads or whatever it was, and then obviously you watched Eubank against Liam Williams, knocked him down really early 2 or 3 times, but then just coasted all the way to the unanimous decision. Whereas a lot of people do think he could have stopped him, and I do agree. I think on that night, I think Chris Eubank Jr. will look back and think that perhaps missed an opportunity to make a bit of a statement there. And I'm not just saying I favour Eubank because of the comparison of those, but I think you do have to look at that. I think you have to look at the size here as well. I think that Eubank Jr. is a lot bigger than Liam Smith. Um, don't get me wrong, Liam Smith's been superb, and he does deserve a big fight like this. Although there's no world title on the line, it is a big fight for him. He'll make a fortune from it, and fair play to him. But I do see this more in favor of Chris Eubank Jr. Whether he ends up stopping Liam Smith, I'm not so sure. I don't know. Part of me thinks this will just be similar to the Williams fight, and it will go the distance with Eubank winning, 9-3, 10-2, maybe score a knockdown or two. But again, my mind might change in the lead up to the fight as closer we get. But yeah, at this early stage, with the fight just being announced, I do think it's going to be Eubank relatively comfortably.
Do you think that if your prediction's correct and Eubank does beat Liam Smith will retire?
What age is Liam Smith now? He's this.
I think he's 34, been around for a while.
See, do, I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't see why not, because he'll have earned a fortune unless he does really still believe he can, maybe even move back down to light middle. And I don't know if he could win a world title down there, to be honest. If he loses, he'll have made a fortune. He has been around for a long time. Was the former champion of the world, wasn't he? WBO. Um, I could see it happening. He's the second oldest Smith brother, isn't he? Um or is he the third? I can't remember. I know he's older obviously than Callum. I'm not too sure about Stephen. Um but yeah, I don't think that would be a bad move. Depends on the manner of defeat as well, I think. If he gets obliterated, I think that he would potentially retire. But if it's close, I reckon he would still go on to the delight of Elliot Grigg, who will be, I'm sure, getting ringside tickets to sit with the Smith brothers in his Team Smith Bros merch.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, good for him. Good for him to leave the house every so often. But yeah, good. I think that's it from me, Paul. Like, as you mentioned, we'll go deeper into this fight. It's a good fight. We want to see competitive fights, and also look, we love all domestic British dust ups. I kind of sometimes prefer that rather than a Brit going and fighting for a world title. There's kind of more of a story there when you know you're fighting your countryman, and both Liam Smith and Chris Eubank Jr. have done that in the past with relative success. Is there anything else you want to add? Any other kind of factors you think are interesting in this fight?
Not in terms of the fight itself, but I'm kind of thinking more the aftermath. You know, the winner. Does the winner get
Yeah,
a world title shot? In 2023. If you got to think that if Eubank wins, he's got that Golovkin fight's still there.
yeah,
He's still got the belts at middleweight,
yeah,
and I think not saying that Eubank would definitely beat Golovkin, but if he's to win this, he's not going to have a better chance of beating Golovkin now that he's 41, whatever
yeah,
age he is. So I think that fight could happen.
yeah. And I think that look, I'm looking forward to this fight. At the same time, Eubank's been talking about fighting for a world title for a long time, and I think the last time he fought for a world title was against George Groves in 2018. I'm going to say so, quite a long time ago. So we want to see him against one of the other champions, whether it's Golovkin, Charlo, Janabek, who obviously fought Denzel Bentley recently, and I wonder if Eubank might look at that fight and think that's a winnable fight. That if Eubank Jr. does win that fight, I would love him to say, "I don't care what you're offering me. I want a world title fight. I'm not interested in Conor Benn in Billy Joe Saunders rematch. I want a world title in my next fight because if he doesn't achieve that in his career, I think he'll regret it. And he's not, you know, he's not a young man himself. Eubank, I think he's 33 years old now. All right, Paul.
Yeah.
Thank you as well. Looking forward to it. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Liam Smith. Thank you very much for joining me.
Cheers, all the best.